people unfamiliar with you don't understand that you're actually like a guru of insight. And as you can see, you don't have it back then. When is that time where you really start to have this like saintly, godly level of self-reflection that you exercise in like the later half of your life? You really started to have this self-reflection, because as long as I've known you on Facebook, you've always been a master of self-reflection, and I know people really are drawn to that. Like, as you can
They
see,
are.
how you are in seventh grade, the people you're fighting in seventh grade, they're not having this conversation with themselves. And so all you do is just
Right.
have this bottled up anger, and it doesn't have anywhere to flow because you don't have this conversation. You don't know how to reflect at all. When did you really start to have this transition where you could have these conversations with yourself? Because I can't imagine that girl in seventh grade being able to do that. You just wanted to be happy, and suddenly something's in the way of your happiness, and then you don't know what to do with it. But later on in life, you have this shift, and you can have a conversation with yourself. You don't even need to actually approach the person. You can handle it within yourself. Where did that happen? Because
Absolutely.
someone like you, that's hard, it seems like, to make that transition.
You would think.
Mm-hmm.
I started journaling when I was in probably when I moved. I started journaling because I
There
had
we
no one to
go.
talk to.
Yep.
And so I started journaling. Um, but here's a fun fact. I don't know where this came from, but I remember vividly. I'm probably fifth grade,
Okay.
fourth grade. And I would gather neighborhood kids. We had in the city where we grew up, my uncle built these wooden steps, like a little small deck porch to my parents' house. I'd gather all the kids. I would make them do this for me all the time. I can't believe they had the patience to do it with me, but I would make them sit on the stairs and they were the audience. I would grab the chairs from the deck and bring them down, and I would have a guest and I would pretend I was Oprah. Okay. I know, right?
Oh,
And I had
wow.
all the time, my mom would come out and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm interviewing. I'm interviewing. Leave me alone." I can't even remember the questions I asked, but these poor kids were like, "I guess we got to sit here while she interviews." But
Where does
I
that
just,
come from? So
right.
interesting.
And I didn't even watch, my mom watched Oprah. I don't
Okay.
remember specifically me watching Oprah. So fast forward, I get to White Pine, I start journaling. Um, and I knew very soon I wanted to be a journalist.
Mm,
I wanted to write, and
mm,
that had been my plan all along. I was going to go to journalism school. I went to journalism camp at MSU the summer between my junior and senior years.
mm-hmm.
Um, I was going to go to CMU and major in journalism, and I wanted to not just write, but I eventually wanted to be somebody like Oprah, who was sitting there and helping people, right?
Wow.
Um, Somebody that was helping these people tell their story that would reach hundreds and thousands of other people that would help them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a couple of traumatic relationships in high school,
Mm.
and one of those turned into a marriage, and the marriage was very traumatic, very
Wow.
traumatic. And so when I divorced, I realized all of this anger I had bottled up from the time I was young. Um, and I remember thinking, I have three small children.
Mm,
And as much as I would love to go haywire with this anger and just act in such a way that it looks like I'm giving the middle finger to every person that I come across, I looked at the three of them and thought, I, I've got to be a grown up. I have
mm-hmm.
to be, I have to be their support system. I have to be their solid ground. And so I started writing again a lot. Um, and I don't know when it happened. I remember one day I had a conversation with somebody, and the conversation broke me, like just broke my heart. And I thought, I know there are people out there that are going through this thing or they're going through these emotions. And I had, for some reason, it popped in my head to write a Dear Doll post on Facebook about it.
Why
And
was
I
it
wasn't
doll?
using names. I call people doll. I always say,
Okay,
hi,
it's just
doll.
your part of your
Yep.
personality. Hey, doll. Okay,
Yep.
yep. Okay,
Hey,
go
doll.
on.
How you
Yep.
doing, doll?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I
Yep.
do it all the time.
Yep.
And so I wanted her to know that I heard her that day. And I also wanted her to see all the people that it might affect. Right now, I had no idea what the post would do. Like, I thought maybe a couple people might be like, yes, I feel like I've gone through this or whatever. I did not know that it would affect so many people. Even later down the line, I mean, let's say I write a Dear Doll post, I get like 23 likes and maybe 3 comments. But then there was a time I wasn't on Facebook as often anymore. I was going through some stuff and I was like, I'm not huge on social media right now. I just don't feel like it.
I remember it.
I
Yep.
cannot tell you, yep, I cannot tell you the number of people that reached out to me or that I would see and they'd be like, we miss your Dear Doll post. We miss your Dear Doll post, please. I actually started a blog, Dear Doll.
Oh,
And yep, and it's still sitting there. I have a lot of drafts.
okay.
Um, yes. And so one of my goals for 2023 is to relaunch that blog.
Okay.
Um, because it's obviously it's a much longer post for me than what I can put on Facebook. I can go more in depth
Mm,
on my blog, right, than I
mm,
can on the post. But I realized, and now honest, I mean, and I'm sure everybody knows this, a lot of these Dear Doll posts are about me. They're to me. They're to me, they're about me. Um, I realized that even if somebody reads it and they don't like it or love it or even comment, it's resonating with people. I don't care if there's one person that ends up liking it. I know that the words I'm writing are reaching people. I know it is.
mm-hmm,
And it's therapeutic for me to write them.
mm-hmm,
It's therapeutic for me because I didn't realize how many people actually were invested in them.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think me being insightful started when I was very, very young. I just
mm-hmm,
didn't know it.
mm-hmm,
Um, my mom always said I was just this person that I was just more mature for my age than what we all realized. Um, I don't know where it came from. I really don't. I can't pinpoint when it started. Um, I can't pinpoint how it came about. Um, I can't even. Um, I don't know. I think it's really crazy though that all these years later, I'm like, you know, that I even still to this day, I can vividly remember how I felt when I was 11 years old,
mm-hmm,
wanting to talk to these
mm-hmm,
people on my front porch.
mm-hmm.
Like how crazy, you know.